Hello Hampton 4th graders. This is Ms. Vance and I'll be bringing your lesson today on drawing and measuring angles. I hope everyone is doing well and you are following all the CDC regulations. Before I get into our lesson, we're going to review angles. You may have remembered before we left for spring break that we started to measure angles. First thing I'm going to do is tell you over the 4 types of angles. The first type is an acute angle. It is less than 90 degrees. Here's an example of what an acute angle might look like. The next one is a right angle, and it's exactly 90 degrees. Here's an example. It should have the little box in the corner, but it doesn't always. And the next one is an obtuse angle. An obtuse angle is greater than 90 degrees and less than 180. Here's an example of what an obtuse angle would look like. And then last is our straight angle. And our straight angle is exactly 180 degrees. Basically, it's going to look like a line. So, to measure angles and to draw angles, we use a protractor. This is what my protractor looks like. It's okay if you don't have one at home, because when you answer questions, the protractor should already be on the page. So a protractor is a tool to use to measure angles. Remember that all our boldface words are vocabulary words. So this is our instrument to measure angles. So if you remember, this is what a protractor looks like. It's either going to have a hole or that upside down T. If you remember, an angle is made up of 2 rays. The ray ends in a vertex, and it's the point at the end of the angle where the rays meet. So vertex is an important word, and rays are an important word. You should have all these terms in your geometry dictionary that we did. Here is our first example. It says, what is the measure of the angle? So we are going to take our protractor and put it on the base ray, right on that line, and the vertex on that upside down T. So our base goes to 0, so we're going to look at the inside. It goes 0, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, and it is right about at 130 degrees. It is measured for you on this paper. We read the inside numbers and 130 degrees. So this angle is about 130 degrees. Sometimes you don't get an exact measurement, but that's okay. You usually round it to the closest number. So the next example says, draw an angle that measures 75 degrees. First thing we're going to do is draw one ray. That's going to be our base. We're going to put our protractor on the base so it faces to 0. And then we're going to go up and find 75. We're doing the inside number, so 75 should be right about here. We're going to put a dot, just like they did here. And then we are going to connect the dot and make it an angle. with the arrow. And so then we made an angle that measures exactly 75 degrees. We're going to look at our last coached example. So we're going to draw an angle that measures 140 degrees. We know 140 degrees is obtuse, so it's going to have to be a large angle. So it says use a protractor below, draw one, and it's going to be ray of the angle. I'm going to draw it in the other direction so we can see how to read the outside numbers too. There's my ray. You're going to line up the end point of the ray with the 0 mark on the protractor. Then we're going to find the 140 degrees on the protractor. The angle is greater than 90 degrees, so we're going to make a point at 140 degrees. You're going to count up 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100, 110, 120, 130. So we're going to make our point there. And then the last thing we need to do to make our angle is to connect our points. And put the arrow on it. So this is our obtuse angle at 140 degrees. So now we're going to look at some more questions about measuring angles and drawing angles. Question 1 says, look at the angles shown below. I know I've taught you to label all of your angles before you do them. So angle A is acute. Angle B, it kind of looks like a 90, but not exactly sure. So let's go ahead and measure it. Yep, it's at 90, so we're going to make that a right angle. And this one is obviously an obtuse angle. So our question says, which shows the angles listed in order from least to greatest measurement. So least to greatest, they're already in order for us. It makes it easy. It goes angle A, angle B, and angle C. So our correct answer would be A. So let's look at question number 2. Which angle measures 105 degrees? So we're going to label our angles first. This is acute. This one is acute. This one looks obtuse. And this one is obtuse. So we can already eliminate two angles, angle A and angle B. Remember, we should always be able to eliminate two answers right away. And then there's going to be two answers that are close, but we have to pick the best answer. So I'm going to measure these angles. I'm going to put it on the base. This one's going to 0. I'm going to read the outside. So it looks like it's going to 110 degrees. That's a little more than what we're looking for. So I'm going to measure the other angle. This one is going to, this base is going to this 0. I'm going to look up, count up, and it looks like it is right between 110 and 105 and 100. So this one is probably 105 degrees. So our correct answer would be D. Here's, look at number 3. It is a vocabulary question. What units are used to measure an angle? inches, arcs, rays, and it's going to be degrees. All right, let's look at number 4. Look at the angle below. Which statement best describes the measure of the angle? So we can look and tell it's acute, that it should be less than 90 degrees. So if we look at our answer, this is less than 70, equal to 70, greater than 70, and the measure of the angle cannot be determined. We're going to have to measure this one. Our base is going to 0. We're going to read the inside. It looks like it's exactly 70 degrees. So we know it's not less, we know it's not bigger, and we could determine it with our protractor. So we're going to take out D, so our correct answer is B. Let's look at number 5. And these are more of the type of questions you're going to see when you get to your work. It says, look at angle A below. It says, which statement is true? So angle A measures 60. Let's check. Let's do our measurement. Our base is pointing to 0. We're going to count up 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100, to go straight to 120. So we knew it was obtuse. So that means it's greater than 90. So we know A is taken out. We know C is out. We can tell better if it's between 60 and 120 because we have a protractor and we get it exact. So answer B will be your correct answer. And let's look at our last example. This is number 6. It says, what is the measure of angle B? We can tell it is acute. So that means it's less than 90 degrees. We're going to have to measure this one with the protractor. I'm going to put the base on the line and the vertex at the point. Go to the base to 0. We're going to read the outside numbers. And I'm going to make this line just a little longer so I can get the exact measurement. And it looks like it's between 60 and 70, so we're going to call that one 65 degrees. So remember, we can get the answer correct, but if we don't put it in the griddable right, it'll still be counted wrong. So 65 is a whole number. Whole numbers always go to the left of the decimal point. Here's your decimal point. Put 6 and 5 here. I'm going to bubble the corresponding numbers down. You don't have to fill in the other ones that you didn't use as long as you have the 65 correct. Alright, this is my lesson. I put in a assignment for everybody on Study Island. It's called Angles. I also included an assignment for review on lines, line segments, points, and rays for review. You can go ahead and do that one. If you have any questions, please ask me on Dojo, or you may email me at kvance, KVANCE, @uplifteducation.org. Thank you.